The Drukhari and the Craftworlds are joining forces. They are forming their alliance around this meeting point, the Webway portal, on this ruined city. No one lives here, but little do the Eldar forces know, hidden underneath the ground is a sleeping force of Novokh Necrons. Time for a 40k battle report.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this battle report. Right, today Dark Eldar and Eldar take on the Necrons. I am playing a fellow YouTuber and friend, Richard, from Capitan Morgan Wargames, and he has brought his forces of Eldar to face my Necrons in a practice game for a tournament that we are both going to in October. So it's the Confrontation 3 tournament. It's going to be using some modified missions from Chapter Approved, and it's 2,000 points. So let's have a look at my Necron forces. Okay, so here we go. This is my Necron force for today's game. Now, like I said, I'm using the Novokh Dynasty. It's a single dynasty, single detachment force. So I have an outright detachment, and it's full on assault, not a single gun in this army. I am only experimenting. I'm going to adapt this list for the tournament as I go along, but this is my starting point. So let's have a closer look at the actual list. So starting off here, we've got a Destroyer Lord. He's got a Warsigh and Phylactery. I've exchanged the Phylactery for Nano Scarab's Casket, giving him the D3 living metal at the beginning of my turn and my opponent's turn, and with the ability to come back on a 4+ if he's slain. He's the Warlord with the Warlord trait Crimson Haze, allowing models from units within 6 inches to have an extra attack on a roll of a 6 to hit. Pretty useful in close combat. And to run alongside him, I have 3 squads of 6 Wraiths. So 3 maxed out units, but with no upgrades. And then running alongside them, I have 3 units of 9 Scarab Swarms. And finally, in the Elites slot, I have 2 units of 15 Flayed Ones. Now, I'm very excited to play this army. This game is definitely going to give me a good idea of how this army can perform, and maybe help me decide where I want to take it for the actual Confrontation 3 event. Okay, so that is my army. Now let's have a look at the Eldar forces. Before that though, if you would like to keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, then please give me a sub and hit the bell button so you don't miss an upload. Okay, so this is the Dark Eldar force that I am facing. But first of all, say hello to Richard. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very good, thanks.
Good, thanks very much for coming down.
Oh, brilliant. I love playing you. It's always fun, and the terrain is brilliant, as usual. Excellent,
thank you. Okay, so what have you brought?
Right, I've brought 3 detachments. A super auxiliary attachment of a Wraith Knight Board and Sword with 2 star cannons. I've bought a Dark Eldar battalion with 2 Archons that are in Webway stripe, a Ravager, 3 units of Cabalite Warriors with a Cyberite, and each one has a blaster in it, all in Venoms with twin splinter cannons. Then I've got a Eldar battalion, and in that I've got 2 sets of Rangers.
They are infiltrated, yeah, one there.
And one over.
One all the way over there.
I've got, as my third troop choice, I've got Dire Avengers. My 2 HQs is a Farseer. He's hiding behind this little building here.
Yep.
And he's got Guide and Fortune. I've got an Autarch on the jet bike. He's sitting out back giving a little bit of help to the support weapons, which are, today they're Shadow Weavers, which are 48-inch range, and on the 6th they become -4 AP. I've got a set of Dark Reapers. Reaper Exarch has got the Tempest launcher, the others have got all Reaper launchers. And finally I've got a set of jet bikes with shuriken cannons. Slightly less shots, but I've gone for the AP.
Okay, excellent. Right, let's have a look now at the mission. Okay, so we are playing Dominate and Destroy, and also with Search and Destroy map. So we've got 6 objectives. We were both quite happy to put them down one at a time, and they pretty much all ended up in this corner of the board. My idea being that if I didn't get to choose the deployment side I was on, it wouldn't make much difference. My army is going to charge forward. However, as you can see, I did get to choose my deployment zone. We've got 1 objective in the building, 1 just there, 1 in this building, 1 in the middle, which it does have a lonely objective just over there, and then the other one is all the way over here. So I've deployed, I've got my Scarabs and Wraiths with the Destroyer Lord. Those Scarabs just hiding behind the building, and we just about managed to get those Wraiths in the top there. So that is the setup and the mission. We now need to find out who is going to be going first. So it's going to be a dice roll. So let's get some dice rolled. Here we go. A 5.
Plus a 1, 6.
Yep, so I am going first then. Here we go.
Try and see.
Oh yes. Not quite. Okay, so Necrons, turn 1. Okay, so a super quick turn 1 for Necrons in my stress-free list here. So basically all I did was moved the Wraiths off of that objective down to that one, and then I deep struck in the flayed ones in my deployment zone on that objective. However, I did score 4 points from the objectives. So now I'm going to go into turn 1 for the Eldar, Dark Eldar. Okay, so turn 1 for the Drukhari and Craftworlds, and basically they took centre ground, getting this objective in the middle and then just opening up fire, targeting primarily the flayed ones on top of the building. A couple of units weren't able to see them and shot into the Wraiths, but I did save all of those. However, the flayed ones eventually went down, and then the remaining shots just shot into my Scarab swarms. I lost 3 bases, and I've got 1 base down to 1 wound. So first blood and a kill point plus 2 objective markers, bringing the Eldar forces up to 4 points. So it's 4 points each after the first turn. So we're now going to move on to turn 2 for the Necrons. Okay, so Necrons turn 2. So I basically decided I couldn't sit on the objectives for the whole game, so I advanced up with my Wraiths. Well, I didn't advance, I just moved them because the Drukhari have a special stratagem that they can use, where if I use a command point or a stratagem, they can try and stop it. So I didn't actually do anything apart from moving up with the 2 units of Wraiths just there. And then I moved these Scarabs from behind the building. They advanced towards that objective that was abandoned by the Wraiths. In the meantime, these Scarabs here just moved from this side of the terrain to that side, just to get a bit closer to potentially get to that objective at some point. And then my flayed ones came in just over here. I rolled for the assault distance and I managed to roll a 7. So I tried to use a command point, and the Dark Eldar used their stratagem, actually denied me re-rolling the dice, so they just stood there. That stratagem was 3 command points, and the Dark Eldar command points are going down quite rapidly. They're just on 3 at the moment. I've still got all 4 of mine, because the dice roll from that stratagem meant that I didn't lose my command points. However, they are stranded there. And then it was time for the assault. So I multi-assaulted 2 Venoms, 3 Wraiths on one, 3 Wraiths on the other. 1 Venom survived with 2 wounds left. The other one was destroyed, and the warriors there are just engaged in combat in the pylon. Over here, these Wraiths took the other Venom out quite easily, and once again just engaged the warriors in the pylon. And that was the end of my turn. So I managed to get 1, 2 and 3 points from the objectives, and I managed to get 2 points from killing the 2 Venoms. That puts me up to 9 points after 2 turns. So let's see what the Dark Eldar and Eldar can do in their turn 2. Okay, so turn 2 for the Eldar, Dark Eldar. So the big bad boy there decided it was time to sort these wraiths out, so he moved into position to assault. But before that, everything else moved around to get into prime position for shooting the wraiths. These guys here, the Venom and these jet bikes, moved up onto the top of the building there, onto the objective, and they all targeted the Scarab swarms. I only lost 2 bases, that wasn't too bad. And then over on this side of the table, the Archon, this is the Warlord, he deep struck just in over there. And on this side of the table, all the way over here, the other Archon deep striked into there. And then the middle blob shot into my wraiths after the Farseer here managed to do some mortal wounds using smite. My wraiths, I lost 3 wraiths from the shooting. The Wraith Knight came in, assaulted me and did no damage. In the meantime, this little blob just over here shot into my flayed ones. I lost about 50% of the flayed ones that were there. The Archon managed to get into the assault, but this Archon over here did foul his assault, so he wasn't able to get in. That was all the assaults. As I said, the Wraith Knight didn't do much. He attacked first, and then I used 2 command points, and I basically did the intervention, allowing my flayed ones to assault first. With the Novokh Dynasty, I managed to get all of my hits in, the re-rolls and then the re-rolls, all 21 hits coming through. The Archon, with his 2+ saved all of them, apart from the last 3 wounds. He eventually rolled a 1, and then I managed to do 2 wounds basically in the end, and then the Archon did quite a lot of damage on my flayed ones. I had to use 2 command points to stop them from failing morale, which gives me the ability to obviously do my RP in a second. The only other action was over here. These wraiths here took out the unit of warriors. So I got 1 point, and the Eldar / Dark Eldar got 3 points for objectives. Okay, so that was it. We are running in at 7 points for the Eldar and 10 points for the Necrons, as we move into turn 3 for the Necrons. And I've just remembered that I need to do some dice rolling on the camera, so let's do that now. I'm going to start off with my RP rolls on these flayed ones. I've got the dice ready. We have 13 RP rolls, so let's do this. We need 5s. We want to get as many 5s as we can. The Warlord there is looking quite vulnerable. If I can get a good assault off. Managed to get back. 1, 2, 3. Not that great, however, it's 3 up. So hopefully I might be able to take those 3 wounds off in a minute. Okay, so we're going to move on now to Necron, turn 3. Okay, so turn 3 for the Necrons. So first of all, this back blob here, I've got that Archon behind me. I just readjusted the Wraiths, the Destroyer Lord and the Scarabs, trying to protect the Destroyer Lord, and also just bubble wrapping my Wraiths, because this Wraith Knight is now free. I moved the Wraiths away from the Wraith Knight, and I assaulted the warriors there, and as you can see I managed to clear them off. The unit of wraiths that was there moved up towards the Ravager, and then over here we had the flayed one assault, and this is what happened. Okay, so we've got these 5 wraiths up against the Archon, so let's see if we can kill him off. This is the Warlord, so we need 3s. Re-rolling the misses, only 1 miss, so let's re-roll that. Misses anyway. Okay, so now we need to wound, we need 3s again, and we're able to re-roll that because of the shred. Thank you. So this is the re-roll for shred. 1 misses, there you go. So let's see if this Archon can survive those wounds. So we have 13 wounds coming in. Got feel no pain, yeah?
Yeah, 3, 4, 6.
6 feel no pains.
2, 4, and he's dead.
He's dead. Excellent. So slay the Warlord. Well done, flayed ones.
That's 2 points.
Yes, yeah, killed a unit as well. Okay, so next is 5 wraiths on this Ravager. So let's get some rolling. We need 3s. Novokh Dynasty lets me re-roll all of those 1s and 2s. So everything in apart from 2 dice. So we're looking at strength 6, toughness 6. See how many wounds we can do. We need 4s. So we've got 9 saves to make. We've got a 5+ and vulnerable save, and they're 2 damage each. So you've got feel no pains as well, have you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because of the
each damage gets, yeah, feel no pain. You've got 10 wounds, so trying to get through here. Got 2 feel no pain saved.
No, because it's 6+.
Oh, it's a 6+, is it? Oh, right. So how many wounds was that?
So enough to get it.
Okay. Does it explode? It does. It explodes. You're feeling brave, boys. So that's D3 mortal wounds on the wraiths, 1 mortal wound, and on the Avengers, Dire Avengers, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, 3 mortal wounds. Disastrous. Okay, so that is what happened. So I managed to destroy the Ravager, taking a point. The flayed ones here got me 2 points, 1 for killing the Warlord and 1 for killing a unit. The Wraiths also got me 2 points here, 1 for killing the unit and 1 for taking the objective. I then got this objective here, and this one here. So I gained 8 points, 4 for killing things and 4 for objectives, and that puts me on to 18 points. Turn 3 now for the Dark Eldar, and they are on 7 points, so they've got some catching up to do. Can they do it? Okay, so Eldar, Dark Eldar, turn 3. So the Archon went just under there, tried to assault through the building but failed his charge. In the meantime, this Venom got on top of the building, closest target to my Warlord, and managed to get 3 wounds off of him. In the meantime, these stayed on the objective and shot into my Scarabs, killed 1 Scarab base. I lost quite a few Scarab bases over here. Actually, I've got 1 base left and 1 wound. These were shot by the Shadow Weavers over in the building here. Whilst the Autarch came out of the building, targeted my flayed ones. They actually fouled, but the Dark Reapers took them out instead. So that was a kill point for the Eldar. And then my Wraiths. I lost 1 Wraith from the Dire Avengers. I lost another Wraith from the Wraith Knight in shooting. And then the Wraith Knight came in and assaulted the single Wraith that was left after the 2 Rangers shot them in and killed the other Wraiths that were standing there. In the assault phase, the Wraith Knight, he did quite a few wounds. I actually saved everything apart from 1 dice, which got through and did 2 damage. So my Wraith held on there with 1 wound, denying the objective for the Wraith Knight. So it was 1 kill point and 2 objectives for the Eldar. They've got the Dire Avenger standing on there and these guys standing on there. So it's 10 points to 18 as we move into the Necron turn 4. Okay, so Necron turn 4. No RPs to do, but I do have a living metal, so D3. We've got back 2 wounds. Okay, pretty handy. Okay, so turn 4 for the Necrons. So I had to sort something out here. So what I did is I moved the Destroyer Lords down to the bottom floor and surrounded him with the Scarabs just to give him a bit of protection from the Archon hiding behind the building. In the meantime, the Wraiths managed to assault and destroy the Venom. So that was a kill point. I then locked those guys into combat. And they managed to hit back and take a wound off a Wraith. I did lose a wound off a Wraith from Overwatch as well from the Venom. Those guys there just stayed around that objective. Over here, this Wraith came out of the assault, just denying any points here, hopefully. And then the Wraiths here just assaulted the warriors, and I managed to wipe them out to get that objective point. So I got 2 kill points and 4 objective points that turn, taking me up to 24 points. As we move in to the Eldar, Dark Eldar, turn 4. Okay, so turn 4 for the Eldar stroke Dark Eldar. So, shot me off of this objective, shot me off of this objective. These guys here shot into those scarabs and killed 3 scarab bases with some Doom Weaver assistance. And then over here, these wraiths were prime targets. The Farseer, the Autarch and the Wraith Knight shooting in, killing 1 and then killing 1 in the assault. I took 2 wounds off of the Farseer. So the Eldar stroke Dark Eldar managed to get 2 points for standing on that objective and this one, and 2 points for killing both of these units, taking their score up to 14. So we're going to move in now to turn 5, potentially the last turn. Okay, so Necron turn 5, just getting as many points as I can. I moved and advanced both the Destroyer Lord and the Scarabs onto that objective. Meanwhile, the Wraiths holding this one and the Scarab Swarms holding that one. The Wraiths that were here, I had a chance to fall back onto this objective for a point. However, I decided to go over here. The main reason for that is a bit of a double whammy. I thought I might be able to take out one of these units for a kill point, but also bearing in mind a line breaker. So that was my turn 5. So turn 5 now for the Eldar forces. Okay, so turn 5 for the Eldar stroke Dark Eldar, trying to get some kill points back. So the Autarch on this objective for a kill point. All these guys sitting on this one, shooting down at the Scarabs, along with 2 of the defence platforms, the Doom Weaver guns, but the Scarab Swarm there survived. Over here, the Farseer on this objective for a point, and the Wraith Knight taking on my Wraiths. I did 2 wounds, I lost a Wraith, and that Wraith there is just on 2 wounds. So a few points gained back. It's 17 points to the Eldar and 29 points for the Necrons. But is the game going to continue? Let's find out on a 3+, a 4. The game continues. Okay, so Necron turn 6, very quick turn. I moved the Scarabs up over here onto this objective. I didn't assault, but I've got more models around that objective, gaining that point. In the meantime, the Wraith came out of the assault of the Wraith Knight, and I killed the lonely guy that was manning the defence platform. So I gained a few more points as we move into the Eldar turn 6. Okay, so turn 6 for the Eldar forces. So finally the scouts came out of the building, managed to get into assault with the Scarab. I've got 1 wound left on the Scarab, and the Scarab killed 2 scouts, however they did take that objective. Over here everything else shot into these Scarabs. I lost a few bases as the Wraith Knight killed the Wraith over there. And then over on this side of the table, the Autarch that was there came up over here, shot into my Destroyer Lord with quite high damage weapon, fusion gun I believe, and he's down to 2 wounds. In the assault phase though, the Autarch did miss, and the Destroyer Lord took 4 wounds off of him, so both on 2 wounds there. So a few more points gained back for the Eldar forces. They're now on 22 and Necrons are on 34. If the game goes on, the Eldar have a chance of bringing it to a draw if they can grab enough points. However, is the game going to go on? Let's roll off and find out. Just got to grab a dice. Here we go. A 5, yes. Game goes on. Turn 7. Okay, so the game is over. We've both just taken our turn 7. In my turn 7, basically killed the Autarch there. I gained living metal in my turn and Richard's turn, taking me back up to 5 wounds. So I scored a few more points, taking me up to 38 points. And then it was the Eldar turn. Basically focusing down my Scarab Swarms just there to take this objective with the Wraith Knight. Over here the scouts couldn't quite kill these guys here. So we've tallied up the points. The Eldar got 28 points, I had 38 points, so 10 points difference. We've just looked at the sliding scale and you have to score more than 10 points for a major victory, so it would have given me a minor victory. So I would have got 20 points and Richard would have got 7 in the events that we will be going to. So I really hope you enjoyed the game. It was a lot of fun, and if you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. Hit my icon at the end of the video so you can keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k. Beam me up!